You're listening to littlepodcast.com.
Why you gotta take it there?
Retake. This isn't gonna work.
We're not talking about any integrity.
We are trying to exploit a generation.
Ever tell you about that time when I paid for Chinese food with the DVD? The grease is the gravy.
You guys played footsie over the table.
Well, yes, but that's irrelevant. I can smell Pepto-Bismol from here. It tastes like an antacid tablet. Why are there so many Draculas everywhere? No, there's vampires everywhere.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 209. I'm your host, John Rowe, joined by my co-host / guest,
Matt Haag.
Matt Haag.
This is weird. I haven't done one of these for a while.
Yeah, it's been like 4 years.
Yeah, and even just other podcasts in general. It's been like multiple years since I've done anything recorded. So,
Well, you do your music.
yeah. Well, yeah.
But nothing podcast-wise, yeah. Well, Adam was under the weather this week, and I really wanted to put an episode out, and I've had Matt on before, and Matt's a good friend and an awesome talking person, so I figured we'd go. Adam wanted to see the movie Batman vs. Superman.
Why?
I know, that's what I said, and he said, reviews don't matter, I don't take much stock into them.
No, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. So
exactly, I'm like,
I'll watch it when it's on DVD, probably.
Yeah, I was like, go see it, and we'll talk about it next week. So listeners can look forward to Adam discussing, and I will have I will play the devil's advocate, and I will have many negative reviews to throw in his face. Although he might not like it, he's not completely unreasonable. Anyway,
I will say that I've heard Batfleck is like the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
That's something to look at.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Matt Damon. I almost said his counterpart Ben Affleck is a pretty good actor, and he's a really good director. I saw Argo. Did you see Argo when it came out?
No.
Well, I think he wrote that too. He wrote and directed that, and that was really good. And he won an Oscar for it, just not for best director, which was unfortunate because he won the Directors Guild Award, but he did win an Oscar for Best Picture, as he also produced the movie. So, whatever. He's got more.
Doing all right.
Yeah, yeah. And all right, well, good for him. So what have you been up to, Matt?
What have I been up to?
Just to fill listeners in before I'm going to instantly interrupt you because I'm really good at that. Just to fill listeners in.
It'll give me time to think of like.
Exactly. That's what preemptive. You know, I'm like, all right, give Matt a little time because I kind of sprung this on you last minute. So I needed a replacement host, and you were the first person I called.
I really like the way you asked too. You're like, so what you doing?
So what's going on? So Matt actually did the theme song for the show and the outro music and all the delightful under music that we use, except for John's pad. I came up with that one on my own by stealing some music. Wasn't really stealing. It's Creative Commons license or whatever. I put a link to that guy's page. I think is that how it works?
That's probably fine.
Well, he said you can use it for free.
Yeah,
if you
do that all the time.
If you have a link to my website. So every episode, this is a plug for the website, bornintheeighties.net. You can go to that episode page. You can download the podcast, watch the embedded video. Sometimes I put links in there if we talk about like specific things, news articles, if you want to read more. But yeah, so that's where I put the credits for the music. I may actually put it in the description of the MP3 as well. I don't remember if I've done that, but yeah, so I'll probably be getting a mail from his lawyer in a few days. All like 80 people that end up listening to this will will let him know. Yeah. So yeah, Matt does the awesome theme music for the show. And it is awesome. And it hasn't changed in years because I love it. I absolutely fucking love it. So that's it. Matt, what have you been up to? I gave you time.
One thing. Automatron.
Okay, so you have been playing Fallout 4's...
Yes, I have.
How is that?
It's awesome. It's building robots, fighting robots. It's the one thing that got me to replace Dogmeat as a companion.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked
awesome.
Yeah, I like Dogmeat a lot too, actually. I think when I played Fallout 4, I perked into the like companion, like buffing them up
Yeah.
So dog meat could like do some moves.
I
liked
felt
him.
so bad about sending him into fights that I just went into the console and made him invincible. That's like that's the only cheat I'll do.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel bad about protecting
Yeah,
him.
well, it's not like he like owns bad guys. You know, he just pins people, and like that way you can shoot them. But it doesn't seem too game breaking. The one thing I learned though is that when he like gets hurt, it's the absolute worst noise ever.
Yeah.
Just
I wish I
sad.
could turn that off.
Yeah, sad crying, whining dog. But he. But when I read, it was like, no, don't worry. He's fine. He'll just be down for a minute, and then he'll be back up. I'm like, all right, so he's just complaining. He's not hurt. You know, I'm fine. So I could justify it.
But in addition to that, I've been playing more Fallout. So I'm
Yeah.
doing that.
What is that? Can you explain it?
So I did a cover of the Fallout theme song, which is it's on SoundCloud now, and it's waiting to get approved for all the iTunes and stuff.
Sweet.
And instead of doing my usual like Pomplamoose style video, I'm gonna do an animated side scroller, kind of run through the storyline. And since I never actually
Spoilers.
finished the storyline, yeah,
Wait, you still haven't
Maybe I'll-
finished it?
no, I just
Yeah.
got sidetracked and
No, me too. I'm
did
like,
settlements and stuff.
yeah, I'm like 25 hours in. I played on the PS4 because I thought Lauren might want to play, but she never has. But I bought it there, and it runs like shit. But I played like, probably 25 hours, and I just started Act 2. Like, it's just, there's so much to do.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to do, and it's like when it got to be like a month or so after release, and I knew how it ended and everything, and I still hadn't gone on with it. Like,
Yeah.
What's the point? But so now I'm for the side scrollery bit, I want to have like landmarks along the way. So now I'm going in. I made a second character, put it on God mode, and just am sprinting through, taking
Yeah.
screenshots everywhere
Nice.
with an explosive minigun, and
God,
it's great.
that game is good. I
is.
loved it. I know it got really good reviews.
Yeah.
It deserved a lot of the flack it got in some ways. Like, that game was not running very well when it came out for some people. And on the console versions are it just gets choppy, like real choppy. Like, and you're just like, man, this is a new console. I got it 2 years ago.
Yeah. Did they get that stuff fixed for the console people, though?
Yeah,
Are you on console or are you on PC?
I'm on console, PS4. I regret that decision, but also my Computergate scandal had just been finished.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just still don't trust my computer. And if people that have been listening know that it's been crashing again. But it hasn't in like a week now. I think it's the video card is the only thing broken this time. The video card stops working. I get like a red screen or something, and it's like shit. And then I restart it, and it works for days. I don't know what it is. And maybe it's a software thing. I've updated the driver a few times. It seems to be working better. So I don't know. I'll have to upgrade the video card probably this summer, maybe when I have money.
Yeah. I've been having a weird computer thing, too, where my audio interface was, like, just cutting out and all sound would stop, and it would freeze the computer. And so I tried a ton of stuff to fix it, but what it ended up being was it was plugged in a USB 3.0 port, and it doesn't support that correctly.
Oh, it just doesn't like
it.
it.
Into USB 2.0, and that fixed it. But this was like freezing my computer and crashing tons of stuff.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like seems like such a minor thing, but it would crash your computer, just like how the video will like break. And I mean the computer's still on and running, but I don't see anything on the screen, and I just have to restart. Yeah, it's fine. It might crash while we're recording this, so
Well,
listeners.
since it's like Google Hangouts, does it automatically save up to the point where it crashes?
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, totally. It just this all goes live to YouTube and then gets posted. So that's like the coolest part. Other than I can't use YouTube on my account, so but whatever.
Oh,
I
for
can't.
like you couldn't like look up a video or anything.
No, I can't monetize anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because you're a thief.
Apparently. I don't even know. Like, it's the point where I send in, like, what is it called? A appeal claim.
Yeah.
And it just, like, instantly comes back as denied. And I'm like, I don't even know what I did. Like, I look back at chat logs and stuff, and I talk about how I had Google AdSense on my website that I don't even run anymore. I don't even think I have the URL anymore for that website, but it was tied to my Google account. Since someone clicked on it a bunch of times, and I may have said, hey, I've got ads on my website now. You should check it out. And then someone clicks on it 100 times, and Google bans you for life.
Mm-hmm.
And now that includes YouTube. So...
Well, you're not missing out on much. I think I get like 40 cents a month in ad revenue.
Dude, that's like a third of a cup of coffee from McDonald's. You could get that in 3 months, man.
Yeah,
I've
been saving it up.
Well, you could go to Starbucks too, you know, or whatever other coffee chains are available. Just so you know, I go to Starbucks because they have a drive-through, and it's right next to work, so it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I kind of burned myself out on Starbucks working there for so long.
Yeah. Well, do you have any Starbucks stories?
No, not really.
How was
there
it?
Wasn't any like
Yeah.
big scandals or or like people doing like stuff behind the scenes or anything. So
No.
it was pretty much what you expect, like nerdy hipsters, of
Early
which I'm
20s.
one, like just hanging out and being sarcastic.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a decent job.
Yeah, and like most of the customers were fine too. So
Yeah, that's good. I mean, like working at a customer job, like where you have to deal with customers, kind of sucks.
yeah.
But I feel like the people that go to Starbucks are probably less terrible than other places. So
There's a spectrum.
yeah, well, I'm sure there's the worst people
Mm.
possible that show up, but there's also a lot of really good people. So,
And you kind of learn to spot it before
Yeah.
they even get to the counter, so you
Yeah.
know what you're dealing with.
but yeah, that does happen though, right? You get people with really specific coffee orders.
Oh yeah. There was a guy that he was a regular, so he came like every day, and
Yeah.
he would order his drink and ask for it to be made from a specific espresso machine
Okay.
because I guess that one tasted better.
Okay. Sure.
But what he didn't know was every time we had maintenance, the machines got switched around, and it was totally random. So he was just getting whichever machine happened to be in that location.
Oh wow, that's amazing. But you didn't tell him, of course.
No, you just
No.
keep him happy. Let him
one
have
of-
his delusion.
It's one of those things, though. It's just like, you know, he gets it from the wrong machine. He's like, I can tell this is the wrong machine. Send it back. And
Yeah.
it's like, all right,
And-
yeah, we'll use the right one.
There were people that had like really specific tastes, but like they were polite about it, so it was totally fine. We were
Yeah,
fine with
yeah.
everything.
I always feel really bad whenever I have want any changes to the normal order. I'm just like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to
Yeah.
make waves.
I think as long as you're not a dick about it, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I usually get like a latte or a mocha and skim milk. That's not too complicated, right?
Other than like skim milk being gross.
It is terribly gross, actually. But they use whole milk otherwise.
No, they use 2% as a default.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just get
Whole
it
milk
normal
used
then.
to be the default like years and years ago.
Okay, I just assumed it was whole milk, and I was like, So do you drink milk a lot?
Not really. Just like if I'm making a coffee drink, or if I'm using it as an ingredient in something. But I don't drink like glasses of milk anymore.
I don't much anymore either. But I switched to 2%, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Never looked back.
Yeah.
I used to be
Whenever
skim.
I do use milk, it's whole milk. It's like if it's an ingredient or something, like if you're mixing 2% with eggs, it's not going to be very good. But
No.
if you go whole milk or even heavy whipping cream, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's actually a great cooking tip. The John cooking tip is buy half and half and mix that with 2%. That's literally what
Alright.
I do when it calls for like milk and stuff, I usually use the 2%, which is better than skim. I used to mix the skim with half and half, which fixes it a little bit, but it's like you can't cook with skim. I mean, you can, but like, what's the point?
Yeah,
And
I mean, it just kind of boils off like water, right?
the calorie difference, and this is what it is. The calorie difference is so minimal with milk, and it's like you're cooking with milk. You go through a gallon in like 2 weeks, maybe, maybe even more, or until it expires. You're like, yeah, the amount of calories saved is probably less than 200.
Well,
Like,
depending on what you're cooking, like sometimes if it's baking, like the fat is the whole point of why the milk's in the recipe. Cause
yeah,
it's like a
exactly.
binder.
Uh-huh.
I've been watching a lot of Great British Bake Off, so I kind of know a lot about these things.
Okay, I want you to tell me about that show, because I absolutely, Adam and I are big fans of QI, the British show. You know QI. Quite interesting.
No.
Okay, so you need to watch all of QI, and you will, now that I've told you, because
I will. It worked with Trailer Park Boys.
yes, one of the hosts that shows up on QI, it's like a celebrity panel show in Britain, where like Stephen Fry is the host, and
I might have seen clips about this.
Yes.
On
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, they basically like just give out trivia questions and like have like the comedians answer, and then they like tell like quite interesting facts. It's really funny because they have like Bill Bailey on there, and he's really funny, and Jimmy Carr. But Sue Perkins, who's on the Great British Bake Off, is on that, and she's really funny on that show. And I've heard that show's great. So what?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
What is it? Like I don't know anything about it.
So it's a reality baking competition.
I'm all in.
Since it's not American, it's not terrible. Like, there's not like super dramatic Who Wants to Be a Millionaire lighting and music cues, and like
my God.
they don't manufacture false competition and like drama.
I
It's just a group of people that want to like do their best and are encouraging everybody else to do their best.
dude, American reality shows just
Yeah.
I can't deal. I mean, like,
No, it's so like manufactured. It's terrible.
oh my God. The Kitchen Nightmares American version versus the British version is like just night and day watchability. I'm a huge fan of Kitchen Nightmares. I watched it back when it was British, and now we sound like huge snobs saying this, but
Well, it's true, right?
it's
Like,
just true. It's like if
you
you want,
say, you can't say you don't have to say like the American stuff is worse. You can just say that I don't like it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like the things that they try to do, and I'm not the audience that they're trying to appeal to, really.
I guess it that sounds snooty as well, though. But but whatever. But it's just kind of like, why do you need to manufacture drama when there's already drama? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just you don't need to kick it up a notch when it's already up there. I don't know. It's just like this restaurant is failing, and you have to add like crazy music stings and like quick
Like a
reaction.
reverse symbol and then cut the break.
Yeah, and it's like, why? It's these people's livelihoods are on the line. Like, it's already high stakes. Like, whatever. And I love that show. And the British one's really good, and the American one still has really good stuff in it. And I still have watched a lot of it, but I can't. Like, just the constant like reaction shot cuts and like the music and then like.
Yeah, it's just overproduced is what it is.
That would be the exact way to describe it. It's overproduced, and it's tough. It's tough.
But the British Bake Off is filmed in a tent in a field.
Yeah,
with,
that's
like,
what I've heard.
It's like lovely fairy tale music underlying it.
Wow. Oh man, that's going on the
It's
Netflix
just-
queue.
It's just magical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll have to
there's
watch
I
it.
think 1 or 2 seasons on Netflix.
So, Great British Bake Off. I gotta add that to the notes. British Bake Off. Speaking of Netflix, I started watching a new series on Netflix. You'll never guess, but I have it in my show notes that you don't have access to. So, haha, I know it and you don't.
You monster.
I know. So I watched a movie a couple weeks ago, and it's a movie I've watched a bunch of times. I love Parenthood. Have you heard of the movie Parenthood?
I have not.
Okay, it's 1989 maybe. Steve Martin, Mary Steenburgen, Keanu Reeves is in it. A young Joaquin Phoenix, like a 12-year-old Joaquin Phoenix is in it. Rick Moranis. It's just a story about like being a parent, basically. Like, and it's this family, and then all of the different kids and how they like have different family drama. It's like family drama, the movie. Okay. It's just really good. It's like really funny. Ron Howard directed it. It's just a really good like drama movie, but it's funny because
but not like melodrama.
No, exactly. Well, because Steve Martin's in it, you know, it's funny, and he's like his kid who's a little bit high strung and neurotic, and he's trying to deal with it, and he's kind of the same way. Is he kind of what he figures out? And he's like, you're just exactly like me when I was a kid. It's just all about like growing up, basically. And it's a really fucking good movie, and it's really funny, and I recommend it. But there's a TV show called Parenthood that was on ABC, which I had never seen. But I was like, man, they just took the name of that movie I liked, and it's based on the movie, actually.
I've heard of this.
Yes. It's actually not based on the movie. The plot is very similar to the movie. Like, it's, a family, and they have, two sons and two daughters, and then their families, kind of. And it's a drama about, like, one of the dads is dealing with a kid who's got autism. The other one's, like, got a kid who's, like, rebellious and stuff, and she's dad walked out, and then Dak Shepard's in the show, and he plays, like, a dad who's finds out he's got a 5-year-old son out of nowhere, which happens in the movie. The deadbeat characters like that. But it's just really good as a drama show, and it's really funny. And it's got Lauren Graham. Do you know who that is?
Lauren Graham.
She was... no. All right, time for the clickety-clack keyboards, because I don't want to mess his name.
I like the clickety-clack keyboard. I thought it was a fully, like a transition sting the first time I heard it.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Okay, so Lauren Graham. I was totally right. She was on, best known for Gilmore Girls.
Oh. Yes. I've seen so many episodes of that.
Yeah. So she's one of the moms. She's one of the big main characters. Peter Krause is the dad. And apparently, oh my God. Oh, my heart melts. So there's just an Us Weekly article here at the top of my Google search. It says Peter Krause, which is one of the other main characters. He's one of the sons, a dad. He still keeps in touch with his co-stars, even after the show's over, not just including his girlfriend, Lauren Graham. So they met on the show. They're like together.
That's fantastic.
It is fantastic. But anyway, no, she's really funny in it, you know, like it's just kind of like one of those good like sitcoms, and it ended last year. It was NBC. My God, I said ABC. I'm sorry. So the show basically does the thing where I'm a man, right?
As far as I know.
I'm a manly man. I do manly things. I don't make eye water. The point of every single episode of the show is to make you cry. Every single episode has like a montage with some soft indie music and like
the Scrubs effect.
Exactly, but like not as funny, so it's way more serious, and you're just like, oh, this kid, he finally has a friend for the first time montage, and you're like, oh man, fuck this show. Making me feel and shit, but it's awesome. I way into it, and I've joked to Lauren that I'm turning into Adam because he likes to watch like lots of procedural TV shows, and he watches like The Good Wife and stuff. Which I'm sure is a great show, obviously. It's been on TV forever. But, like, I don't know. I just didn't know I would get caught in it, you know? Yeah, so I really like it. And I also want to watch Friday Night Lights, which I heard is good. I'm on a drought of...
I'm going to tell you that's, like, it's okay to like these things. You don't have to feel bad about it.
I know. The part of me is, like, I've always liked drama stuff, and we ran out of shows to watch, and I'm like, I gotta start something new, and I started that. Have you seen the show Mr. Robot? It was on USA.
I haven't. Is it streaming anywhere?
Well, I don't think so.
That's what I was waiting for. I'm
Oh, I heard a cat.
yeah. I have a laser pointer. So.
Oh, I see. If you have cable, then you can watch it. Because it's on it's on the USA website, USA.com.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be streaming. They do put some stuff on streaming services, but I would say you need to check that show out.
I'll find it somewhere. I might find it laying on the ground somewhere or something.
It is. Well, don't do that. That's one thing you learn in Mr. Robot is don't pick up a CD that you found on the ground and put it in your computer. Or if you find a USB drive out on the street, don't put it in your computer because that is a hacker. And that's how it works. And I love it. I love the show because it shows what like actual computer hacking is like.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about it. It's like it's actual hacking. It's
yes.
not like two people typing on a computer to hack fast.
They actually make fun of that in the show. Like they're like
Really?
sitting in a hotel room waiting to like break in to a data center by basically posing as an employee who wants to get a job interview and like getting behind the scenes, then dropping like something, go to the bathroom and hooking up like a Raspberry Pi to their like network in the like the junction that's behind the door in the back room. Yeah, it's just like crazy. It's just like this is how it is. Like you just talk your way into a building, you know, hook a computer up with Wi-Fi in it, and then you're in the network. You know, like this is how it is. Yeah, it's just really cool. It's really serious. It's really dark. Rami Malek's the main character, and he's like really a great actor.
He's got like some kind of mental thing going on too, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
They don't really talk about it in specifics, but he's definitely probably autistic. Like, definitely autistic because of the way he talks.
Okay.
A lot of monologues in the show, like in voiceover. But it's probably one of the best directed shows on TV. Just, it looks gorgeous. You'd love the music. It's all like synthwave, like heavy stuff. And
Nice.
it is just... It's intense. It's just fucking tense. And there's like drugs and hacking and arcades. It's awesome. I fucking love it. And I have to finish the first season. I'm halfway through, and some terrible things have happened. So that's where I'm at. But I can't recommend that show enough. I know it got a lot of acclaim.
Yeah, it was like all the podcasts I listened to were talking about it when it was.
It's just good. Like, there's no way around it. Like, I just... Like, you know, Lauren isn't into shows like that. Isn't into
what
dramas.
Network was it on? USA?
USA, exactly.
Jeez.
I know. It's actually really awesome. We could talk about USA for a while, but they have been knocking out of the park with their TV shows lately because they're like, it's actually really cool. You can read interviews about the guy who created that show. He's Egyptian and a Muslim, and he talked about how he wanted his main character to be an Egyptian guy or something. Rami Malek, I don't know if he's Egyptian. God, I want to look it up where he's from. He may actually be Egyptian, or at least his parents are. But he wanted the main character to be that. You know, that's the story he wrote. And I guess USA fought it a bit, and then they were just like, you know what? You're the creator. You do it. And they did it, and it was an amazing choice because the show would not be the same without him. He is incredible. Where is he? Egyptian parents. Yep. He was born in LA though, so not really Egyptian, just Egyptian ancestry. Yeah, but it's really cool that he got to do that, you know. And there's it's really awesome that USA is like giving creators like, you know, the fucking guy who created this, and I have to name drop him as well, because he deserves the credit. The guy who created this show. Elliot Anderson's the name of the character. Sam Esmail. It's like email, but with an S. That's his last name. Sam Esmail. He is also from the U.S. Of Egyptian descent, but they gave him like a shot. You know, they let him do what he wanted to do because that's kind of what's been working. You know, in TV nowadays is like let the creator have control. You know, like Louis is the exact same way.
It's like we were talking about with the baking competitions. If you get too many producers involved, it's just going to get overproduced.
Exactly. I mean, the show won a ton of awards. It won Writers Guild Awards. It won a Golden Globe for Best Drama. I mean, Yeah, so it's just like, yeah, give them a shot and let them do it. And USA also has a show Playing House that's on it with a couple comedic actresses that Lauren and I really like. And they just announced that they're going to get a third season. And it's like, fuck yes. Like, this is so awesome. They're like letting these awesome people do their awesome shows. And it's the exact opposite of like CBS.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of learning from what Netflix has been doing, where they just like, they've got like their analytics that tell them what's going to be popular.
Yeah.
But if they find a creator that's they know is going to be successful, they just say, here's a budget, go for it.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what TV has been like lately too. It's just been like a revolution of like, and this is why like everyone's like, oh, TV is like having a renaissance right now. It's because they're letting creators be like movie makers and letting them do their own thing.
Because there's so much good TV and I'm never gonna see all of it.
There's
just no way.
Yep, just have to live with it. And I absolutely love Mr. Robot, and I would recommend anyone check it out. And the second season's starting up. And I don't know how there could be a second season with the way things are going on. So it's very dramatic and harsh, but really cool. So, yep. So yeah, you watch The Great British Bake Off, and I watch Parenthood, and that's what we talked about. Anything else you've been up to? Fallout 4?
Yeah, lots of Fallout. Lots of trying to learn how to animate in Adobe After Effects.
Okay. Is that hard? Easy?
It's kind of a weird environment coming from, like, if you're used to more linear video editing. Like, it's not meant to be a timeline editor. It's more like Photoshop.
Ooh, weird.
In layers. Yeah, it's really strange to get used to. But I'm starting to get a kind of a handle on it, so...
Yeah, I'm really
hopefully
used to
by the time the song gets approved and gets released to the distributors, I'll have a video that I can put up and send people.
Yeah, for sure. I'll put a link to it on the website.
Sweet.
Yeah, just send me a link. I'll put it on the show page so people can find it there. I like timeline editors. That's all I ever have known. Like with video editing, I've only ever done Adobe Premiere Pro for video editing.
Yeah, that's what I've been using for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, After Effects is more like you're not supposed to use it as your main editor. You're supposed to use it as making like composite shots for
like overlays.
Edited into like a main thing.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit weirder like that.
But people use it. Like yeah, that's so
for
weird.
Animating, it's either like that or some kind of Flash program or something.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know anything about that. I know Flash is basically dead.
Yeah. The Flash, the Adobe Flash creator got renamed to like something like Animate. So you still do that if you want, and you just export it as like a regular video.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like it's Flash, but it's just a video.
Yeah.
It doesn't go in Flash. I'm sure they have HTML5 versions as well, rather than Flash, which kind of sucks. I like Flash. I grew up with Flash animated things. Homestar Runner.
It was like, I kind of believe that creativity comes from limitations, and back in the day, when you didn't have the bandwidth to do actual video, people had to do weird stuff like Flash animations. So there's a lot of really cool stuff now, and hopefully people continue to do that style just in video form.
Yeah, it's actually really cool how that's kind of like how anime is the way it is, because like the reason why it's so many static shots without characters moving, with just mouth moving, and a lot of the way that it's shot with like with paintings that where the camera pans over rather than having animated frames is because that's the style now. But back in the day, they didn't have the money to animate so much like Disney would do, so they would use all these creative tricks to like get the most out of their footage, and it's just kind of the way the style has stayed nowadays. But it's really cool to think about like their style came from not having all the tools necessary, you know. So
and the way that evolved is really cool. I'm not really a big anime guy, but whenever I see a clip, it's like the backgrounds are so detailed, and they're almost like photorealistic because people are used to putting all that effort into making like the one background shot that they have look amazing.
Yep. Make one really good background painting and use it a lot. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. What else have I been up to? Well, I gotta save anime help for Adam. I need to find a new show because I'm out and I want to find a new show.
I have had Cowboy Bebop on my list for a while, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Well, you'll have to watch that sometime. And if you don't have, I have all of it. And now that you've said it, I'm going to go to Amazon and buy the Blu-rays. No, I'm kidding. I kind of want to, though.
I was in a jazz band in college. We played some of their music, and it was awesome. And then, like, since then, I've heard more about the show, and every time I hear more about it, I just want to watch it more. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, it's like, space bounty hunters.
Well, that reminds me of a thing. So they've got the TV show and they have a movie, right?
Yep.
And I think Netflix should, if they can't get rights to both, for whenever there's like even X-Files, when there's a TV show with a movie that fits somewhere in the timeline, they should tell you where the movie goes.
Yeah. Like in the timeline, be like, watch.
Yeah. And if they did
movie.
have rights to stream both of them, they should just plug it in there.
Yeah. Yeah. She, the Yoko Kanno is the composer that did all the music for that, and she is a huge jazz person. That's like kind of her background, and she's fucking awesome. And her music is
really
awesome.
hard stuff to play too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that music is just incredible that she does, and she's obviously extremely well renowned in Japan and the U.S. Like even like people are like, that is an awesome jazz style that she has. Yep, name dropping musicians. It's what we do.
So you've been playing more Farm Simulator, probably, right?
Farm Simulator.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Stardew Valley?
Yeah, that's the other thing I've been hearing about on like every podcast I listen to.
It's really good. If you like Harvest Moon, which I played pretty much every single version they ever released, you like the game. If you like planting crops, it's like Farmville, but not a terrible game.
That's the kind of thing I just need to stay away from for my own good, though, because I'll fall so deep into it that it'll just never come out.
You will, 100%, because the way the game is built and the way every Harvest Moon game is built, you have a day, and the timer runs. You got to give everything you need to get done in a day, water your crops, feed your animals, walk into town, buy some stuff, talk to your friends, give them gifts, go fishing, all this stuff. And then time runs out and you got to run home, go to bed, and then it saves every night. And you're just like, I'll just do one more day. Like I got some crops that are gonna sprout tomorrow. I can get those, get some money, buy the upgrade for my tool, and like it's just like one more day turns into one more physical day of the weekend, and it's like 4 a.m, and you're like, what happened to me? Yeah, I love that game. It's been like discussed to death. I mean, I can't really give it justice. I love the fact that it's one guy made the whole thing, and he's a millionaire now.
That must be like the craziest trip. Like, you just spend years working on this thing, and then you release it, and you have no idea if anyone's going to care about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
$5 million, or not 5 million, 5 years. But I calculated it out with Steam Spy. But yeah, he's probably bringing home $5 million minimum. Like, good for him. I mean, that's 5 years of work. But that's $1 million a year doing the thing that you love doing. So that's fucking incredible. But yeah, good for him. It's a great game. It deserves all the credit it gets, like beyond just being in the game zeitgeist of YouTube people or Twitch streamers. Like, it is actually an incredible game. So it's not just kind of a flavor of the month flash in the pan thing. It is a really good game. It will have serious game of the year consideration at the end of the year, I think, which is awesome. But I have been playing that. I started playing Factorio. I talked about it on the podcast last week. It's a factory simulator.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It's not really a factory simulator, but I don't know how to describe it other than if you ever played like Minecraft mods like Tekkit or stuff, it's basically like, here is a barren planet that you've crash landed on. build a society from scratch. So it's like mine the rocks, and you get enough rocks to build a furnace, to mine, the iron to make iron plates, and then you get enough of those, you get like an auto miner, and then it just is like crazy. Lots and lots of conveyor belts in this game, moving things from one factory to another. So like you basically have like an iron, copper, and like stone mine all feeding into this system that like at the end like a completed radar dish comes out of, and you did it all from scratch. It's stupid. It's absolutely the dumbest game, but it's like the type of thing I really like, kind of like a simulator, like just all the different, like the scientist and like engineer in me just is like, this is the best. I'm like putting all these things together to make like a finished product that's super complicated, and I don't know, it's really neat. I'm gonna have to play more of it. I only put a couple hours, so it is time consuming. It's a great podcast game, just as Stardew Valley is. Like you can just listen to something and go about doing your daily business or building your factory things and kind of zone out. It's really awesome actually that way. So you've been playing Fallout 4. Anything else?
Bit of Heroes of the Storm, but that's kind of fallen off since the Fallout DLC came out.
I played a bit of that, and I spent like $50 on that game, and then I kind of stopped playing. I guess it was the pre-release like character bundle they had. It was like pay $40, and you get like 8 characters and like a bunch of mounts and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I really like this game. I played it for like 10 hours. I'll just spend that, and I'll have a ton of characters to choose from and learn to start off. And I definitely played a lot of it, and I love that game. And I got really not really good at it, but I did complete a match at the top of my team's leaderboard, top of the entire thing's leaderboard actually. What's your main character in that?
That's a couple of leaderboards ago. They've changed things up a lot.
I got it.
Right now, I've been playing the Necromancer from Diablo.
Okay, I don't even know if that was a character when I played.
No, he's like the newest one.
Okay.
They've been adding stuff. They're at like 50 heroes now. It's ridiculous how fast they're working on this game.
I really liked.
It's just like the minions die in the lane, and he raises them as skeletons, and you just push towers like crazy.
I like that game because I tried to play Dota, and it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too complicated, and this dumbs things down to a point. You know what I mean? But it doesn't make it like brain dead. You don't. Yeah. No gear. I fucking hate gear in Dota and buying gear, and you don't have to do that.
The Blizzard mantra of like easy to pick up, difficult to master.
Exactly. And
whereas
you can just,
something like Dota is extremely difficult just to get in the first place.
Yeah, and difficult to master.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things that, like, if you're into it and you want to spend the time and the hours getting used to it, it's a great game. I like Blizzard, and I like all the characters that I know, and it's cool. Mm-hmm. My main characters I would main, the ones I would play as the most. But actually, the game does a really good job of like giving you like quest objectives or like objectives to try different heroes, basically.
And the free hero rotation that they give you is nice to try
new
stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. It allows you to try stuff, and I don't think they cost too much to buy. I think I actually ended up getting enough in-game currency to buy a bunch of heroes, and I don't think I've even spent
bought everything with gold. I bought like one mount with real money, and everything else has just been like gold that I got from completing quests.
Yeah, and you get a pretty good amount. It's actually not too bad to unlock. Like if there's a guy you really like and you got to play in the free week or free, I don't know how long they switch them out, but you can save up and get it pretty easy. I played. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with a Z. It's the Zerg.
Zeratul.
Yeah. No.
The stealth Zerg?
No, that's a Protoss. Zeratul.
Oh, yeah.
No, the Zerg, it's like
I don't remember.
I keep wanting to say Zathura.
It's not that. Zagara.
Thank you. I liked her a lot. She was in that character pack. She is just a bully. A lane bully, and it's awesome to play as. She really can't do a lot in one-on-one fights with people, but like
Yeah.
as a
She was the hands down top lane pusher until the necromancer came.
yeah. I can imagine, because like her whole game in that is to put down creep tumors and make creep, which she can move like double speed on when she get that upgrade.
You get some health regen.
You get like extra health regen, and it's a point where like if you just start pushing like a lane and they just keep not keeping people on it, you just eventually build up so much creep that you just spawn, because she can spawn her own like creeps and units and stuff, and it's just you just destroy
down,
towers
mutalisks and stuff, and that's all burning down ammo from the tower. So eventually it's going to run out, and you can just hit it for a while.
Yep, it's actually pretty awesome. I liked her, and the other character I played a ton of was Nova.
Oh yeah.
She's a fucking I that's the one that I topped the leaderboard in a game on. I had like 20 or 30 kills. She just is. Yeah. When you spec her to the assassin like that she can be, I mean, it is the point where she's always stealth if she's not moving, or even when she's moving. She's always stealth unless she's attacking. So it's really fun if you're bad at the game, because you can just stealth around. People hate her because bad people play her and don't do anything. Yeah. Because the whole point of her being able to...
that with like sniper characters in any game. They attract a certain type of person.
Exactly. And if he's played poorly, it can be shitty. But the whole point for a character is to go really far back, like near the enemy base, and wait for someone who's hurt to start running back and just snipe them and kill them instantly. Yeah. It's the whole point of that character is to not go one-on-one.
On both sides, because you have the people on your team are like, why aren't you doing anything? Because you're made of paper. Yep. And the people on the other team, you're the one usually getting the kill shot, so they think that you're just destroying everybody. But she has been nerfed into the ground recently.
Damn. Because, I mean, it was just insane, because I had the awesome skin, too, where she's, like, wearing, like, neon skater gear, and she's roller skating around. But, oh my god. Because it would just be, you know, like, they do a big push, and then everyone runs back, and then one guy, like, peels off to the left, and you're like, dead. Yeah. Like, goodbye.
If anyone tries to hearth back without like hiding somewhere first, you just poke them and they're dead.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. She just has one big hit with her like aimed shot, and then like a couple quick shots, and like a snare to slow people down. But if you don't kill them in that first volley, you just have to ghost, just run away, you know, and be like, well, it didn't happen that time. And then when she gets fully upgraded, the fucking nukes that she drops, when you get 2 nukes, it's insane, because she can call in a nuke strike, which takes a little while to load, but when like you're knocking towers down, it's awesome. Or if you're pushing in and everyone's kind of staying back.
If it's a map where everybody's grouped around one objective and you could just like hit the whole team at once.
Correct. Actually, the best way to do it is if you're fighting someone who's playing the siege tank, which can deploy. The timer is actually to the point where if the siege tank is paying attention, they can unsiege and get away in time, but a lot of times you'll catch them off guard, and you'll just annihilate them with a nuke because they won't get away in time. And the siege tank,
or you have a Gazlo on your team, and he throws a grava bomb out.
Yep.
That pulls everyone in, and then the nuke hits.
Yep. Or if and this happened in that game that I was the top of the leaderboard of, the entire team is pushing your final base, and they're all grouped up in one area. Yeah, it's awesome. You kill like 4 people in one shot.
Yeah, that's the best. If it's like a close game and they're pushing for the win, but you end up wiping them, you could just walk into their base.
It's exactly what happened, actually, and we just ran the entire length of the thing back, and they were just spawning as we started attacking, and it was too much. And I had another nuke saved, because when she's fully leveled up, she gets 2 nukes on a timer, and yeah, it was...
And when you're that late in the game, the respawn timer is super long.
Yeah, the tactics in that game are good, and like when I played Dota, I was like, I like the idea of this game, but it is like calculus trying to figure this out.
Isn't it crazy that the whole thing with Dota started as a Warcraft 3 mod?
Oh, I played that a lot originally. That's what I used to do.
There's so many, well, I don't know about so many, but there's a lot of games out now that started as mods of other games, and that's just...
Oh yeah, your DayZ was huge as a mod. There's the oh boy, what am I trying to think of? I don't know, lots of games.
I don't know. That's just, it's cool. It's like indicative of the like remix internet culture that we've been in for a couple of years now, and it's awesome.
It is awesome because it's leading to some really awesome games. And like, Minecraft is kind of in that as well, because it's not really like mods of a game, but it's like people taking Minecraft and building like with the modded Minecraft, like an entire game on top of it. Like with a Tekkit, it's like, hey, that's Minecraft, but there's like things that mine for you, and then you can build factories that build things automatically, and it becomes like a whole like just industrial revolution simulator, which is really cool. Like, it's just neat. It's awesome. Internet's great, huh?
It's great, yeah.
That
I just
Reddit,
wish, like the laws would catch up to it.
It will. It's only inevitable. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like people are just like, man, it's so draconian, but like,
But like, it's always going to be behind, and things are changing so much faster now than they used to.
Oh yeah.
There's just no other way that it can be. There's no way it's going to be on the cutting edge of everything.
Yeah. All right. I think it's time
For
John's
I
pad.
won't steal your thunder.
John's pad. Theme music will go right here. I'm going to cut. John's pad. John's pad. All right. Hey, I got one. I almost called you Adam. Sorry. Force of habit.
It's understandable.
I have one thing written in John's pad from this week. This is a notepad that I carry around with me at all times because I want to write stuff down. It's my observations, my things. This is from 17th of March, 2016. Do you want to guess what I wrote about on that day? Does that day have significance?
St. Patrick's Day?
It is St. Patrick's Day. And I wrote, in all caps, as you can write, fuck St. Patrick's Day. I've heard of it described as amateur night for drinking, which is the best way to describe it. But I only say that because I had a busy day at work. I come home. I don't want to cook. I was like, let's just go someplace to get some food. Let's go to a cheap place. Let's go to a bar that serves like chicken fingers. And
you don't go anywhere on St. Patrick's Day. Definitely not a bar.
And I pulled in, and it also was March Madness's first day. And I was like, I pull into the bar, and I just hear people yelling outside. And I was like, oh, it's like 6:30. And I'm like, oh, no. And the parking... No. Yeah, exact. Slow motion, keys drop. No, and I look at the thing, and it's... I'm like, oh, God. So we walk in, extremely crowded. Like, and I was like, fucking A. This place is usually really quiet for dinner. Like, maybe like 5 or 6 other like couples or families in there eating. They make good burgers, and it's cheap. And I go in there, and I see it's completely crowded. And we're like, oh, let's go get a seat. And there's not a lot of tables open, and there's a lot more people coming in behind me, and it's like kind of seat yourself. It's a bar. And I was like, shit. And there's like one of those stool tables, like a tall table. I fucking hate sitting at those because you're so high up, and my legs dangle, and my foot falls asleep. And I was like, shit, I don't want to be here. It's busy. And I see a bartender walk by with a giant platter just full of piss green, Miller Lights. And I was like, I am out. I can't deal with this. Oh my God, I was so mad. So we went there, and I was just like furious, and I drove past, and Lauren was mad because she was just wanted to eat and was tired of my bullshit, my antisocial bullshit. So I don't know. I drove past another place that we like to go, and that place was completely packed. And I was like, we basically have to go to a place that there's no bar to be able to get a place to eat because
like
they'll be empty
or something.
Yeah. Well, we ended up going to North South, which is near the mall. It used to be Joey's seafood place, but now it's a different place. It's called North South. Okay. It's actually a barbecue place. It's fucking awesome, though. They have barbecue and seafood. And I had the shrimp sensation, which is like a ton of shrimp done 2 different ways. And I got like some spicy firecracker shrimp and some regular breaded shrimp. And it was amazing. And Lauren got ribs and shrimp. Barbecue ribs that are amazing because they do all the smoking like in-house, so it's like really fresh. because I think they got bought by like a barbecue company, basically, that was in town that like does meat smoking. And they're like, why don't we open a restaurant? And they did, and they bought this seafood place, and I think they like co-ran it together, where they like had a shared menu where it was both menus, and now it's just the north-south menu. But they do have a lot of seafood. Empty. But awesome. And I got a beer, and there was like a couple that came in, and they had like a concert, like it was just an older couple singing folk music, and it was awesome. They did like a acoustic cover of oh shit, what's that David Bowie song? Space Oddity, and like just lots of, it was really good. They're actually really good. I was like, this is nice, like soft acoustic music, barbecue, not a billion drunk people like being obnoxious. I love it. I just hate St. Patty's Day because it is literally let's get wasted day, and I hate that.
And it's not even a real holiday. Like it is an actual saint's like day, but the whole celebration around it was just invented by drunk Americans.
Yeah. I mean, they celebrate it in Ireland the same kind of way as well.
Well, that started because American tourists started going over there. So
exactly.
Often.
Because, I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of a fun adult holiday. It's like, hey, this is our ability to drink. And we're allowed to have fun in a bar.
The problem is when you have a holiday centered around that, people just take it too far and they don't handle themselves. It's
just obnoxious. And like, if I was in for it, I'm sure I'd have a good time. But when you're just trying to go out for dinner, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Thursday night. I just want to go and eat a burger and go home and watch Netflix, like, and relax. Yeah. So that's John's pad for this week. Yep. I hate St. Patty's Day. All right.
You know, Tums are like the perfect medicine in that they temporarily cure your acid reflux and then later make it worse, so you have to take more Tums.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I learned this week. It's a base, so it neutralizes the acid, but also calcium signals your body to produce more acid.
Huh. I did not know that.
So it's perfect.
It is perfect. I actually like Tums.
I learned that on the Sawbones podcast. So if anybody out there wants to listen to it.
All right. There's the plug. I don't know. I don't get heartburn too often. It's actually pretty rare. But when I get it, it's I just can't eat like tomato. It's just just tomatoes, like tomatoes and like Italian food, like a marinara sauce. There's no way around it. Like whatever spices are in like Italian, like, or like a sausage, which is pretty common because it's greasy. But like just even if it's just like red tomato sauce, I just too much acid in my stomach.
You're making me hungry.
I know. I actually had a Costco pre-made dinner tonight because Costco's the shit. It was a like crab and lobster ravioli bake. You literally they have like a deli where they just put like, throw this in your oven for an hour at 400 and out comes a pre-made meal basically. They have stuffed peppers that are really good, that are probably my favorite. Adam will know if he listens to this because I brought stuffed peppers down to Illinois as a dinner because fuck, it's cheap. I mean, you pay like I think $15 for one of these giant trays and it lasts like 2 meals. So yeah, I ate about like maybe a quarter of the tray for dinner tonight. So I have food for tomorrow too. But yeah, it was like I guess crab and lobster stuffed ravioli and sauce, and it was amazing.
That sounds awesome.
It is. I love Costco. It's the best. Also, I'm drinking Izzy sparkling apple that I buy in pallets at Costco because it's cheap.
I'm drinking Mexican Coke and Bullet Bourbon Frontier Whiskey.
Oh, I have that.
Did I have that at your house? Because I was at the liquor store and I was like, that label looks familiar, and I think I remember associating it with somebody saying it was good.
I like Bullet Bourbon. They make it's really good mid-shelf bourbon. Like,
yeah, well, that's what the guy at the store was saying. He's like, this is good. You can drink it neat, but it's also cheap enough that you don't have to feel bad about mixing it with Coke.
Exactly. That's why I love it. It's like it's my versatile bourbon. It is my mixing bourbon. I can mix stuff with, or if I just want a glass straight, I can. Yeah, so Bullet Bourbon's great. I'm trying to
Sponsor
think
of the show.
Sponsor Bullet Bourbon. No, I like it because it's not too bad. I think a $7.50 a handle is like $25 bucks.
Yeah, it was like 25, 26 with tax or something.
Yeah, give or take 25 when it's on sale. They also make a really good rye whiskey.
Yeah.
Which,
I'll probably give that a shot next.
yeah. I like rye better than bourbon straight. Rye is more peppery, I guess. It's spicier. But that's what I use to make the Manhattans that I made last weekend when you were here.
Oh, yes.
Yes, use rye whiskey for Manhattans. But just for those who don't know what rye whiskey is, it just is exactly what it is. Like, rather than using, whiskey or bourbon, is a lot of corn mash and wheat and other grains and rye. It's a mix. Rye is just the same mix, but a much higher percentage of just rye as the grain. So it gives it a more like, how like rye bread is like spicier? Mm-hmm. That's the same idea. It's just a little bit more of a peppery grain, which infused into the alcohol, and I fucking love rye. But if you want to make Manhattans and you don't want to buy fancy rye, get Canadian Club. Any Canadian style whiskey is by default more rye than it is any other ingredient. So that actually works as well.
I've heard the Crown Royal rye won like best whiskey or something recently.
Crown Royal's great. Costco has a generic Crown Royal that I almost bought when I was there. That's the other thing that's amazing about Costco. And I know I'm jizzing all over
Kirkland
Costco.
brand everything.
They have Kirkland brand liquor. So you can get like a Kirkland blended scotch, which is basically Johnny Walker.
This Crown Royal site wants me to enter my birthday. So
yeah.
Accurately do that.
Yep. No, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
Because they have it's cheaper. You know what I mean? It's like their vodka that they make, they actually have two kinds. They have a cheaper one and they have their more expensive one. That's like, I think it's $20 for like 1.75 or something. It's like the dumbest, cheapest thing ever. But it's Grey Goose. 100% Grey Goose. Actually,
really?
They bottle it in the same factory. It just doesn't get the Grey Goose label. It's generic Grey Goose.
That happens with a lot of generic stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
cereals, medicines, and like
most
of it's coming out of the same factory.
Yeah, I actually work. That's what I do at work. I work in a chem lab, and we do testing on generics mostly. So the generics that you get are basically built at the exact same places that usually make the things, or a competitor's place that makes other like really fancy drugs, but they just make a generic so they can get some cash.
Usually, like the manufacturer is a contract, so like they're just gonna leave the lines up and produce more. If
it's like, okay, we just finished making
violate a trade agreement or something.
Yeah, it's like, we just finished making this drug. Let's make the generic. We already got everything set up, so just start it up and put it in a different package. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. But that's not always the case with generics. Sometimes they are shittier. Not with drugs, because everything has to be FDA approved when it comes to drugs.
Well, I found with some medicines, this hasn't happened very much anymore. But it used to be like the drug itself was fine, but if I was going to get something like a time release allergy medicine, the 12-hour time release would be bad.
Correct.
Like, it would just all come out right at once.
Yeah, so that's actually interesting. So to get into detail on that, I believe the specifications for that are a lot more lax with the time release.
And that seems like more something that would be a trade secret.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing, too, because working on drugs, and I can't mention anything, it's all confidential, but like the companies are like, they basically know how the other company does it, but they can't do it the same way because that would be illegal, because that's, their patent. So they actually have to like make it differently. And basically
we have to make this slightly less good in order to not be sued.
Yeah. Well, no, it has to be identical to be generic in the terms of at least actual efficacy. I don't know if that is the same for over-the-counter stuff. But like that's like the main thing. Is the FDA is like, this has to be bioequivalent is what they call it, and it has to be the exact same. Which comes to a problem where you actually have generics, like stuff that I've worked on, where it's actually better working than the original, and that's bad. because it has to be identical to be prescribed in place
Yeah.
of. So yeah, with the time release stuff, it could be just that the shelf life is a lot shorter. So maybe that pill worked day one, but like 20 days in, it loses the effectiveness that it had.
Yeah, I
'cause
figured it
those-
was something just like the physical construction of the pill is like some kind of
Yeah, for sure.
thing that's
it's
patented.
it's really complicated. And yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, sometimes it does work better to have it's whatever your body likes. Maybe there's just certain fillers or enzymes in there
Just,
that
you know, like grab a handful out of a bowl at a party and just see how you feel.
it's the 70s all over again. And we're back. Thanks for sticking around through the break, Adam. God damn it.
You better not edit that out.
All right, thanks for coming back from the break. Okay, I won't. No, this is not how the podcast works. Matt, so you took a break. Did you? I picked up a different beverage.
Oh, yeah, I grabbed another bottle of Coke. And I still have the same bottle of bourbon.
I am drinking Capital Maybach.
Oh, nice. Yes.
I bought
had that at
Yep.
your apartment.
Yep, I bought a 6-pack of cans at the gas station while I was refilling my car, and it was like, I love that shit. And it was like $8 for 6 cans, and I was like, good enough for tonight, just to relax. Yeah, so let's talk about the news. And a lot happened this week in the video game world. Matt shared a video on virtual objects experiments with an AR-15. This guy built in I believe this is the Vive VR for Steam, and it is crazy complicated. I'll have the link to the video in the show notes, but yeah, he's basically built a virtual AR-15 that is basically people who have used these weapons before. Like, yeah, that's how it works. Like, all the levers and everything that you manipulate in the game feel real, which is like
That's
really
how it
cool.
jams in real life, and that's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you hit it to unjam it. Like,
Yeah, that's friggin' awesome. Like, and so we can talk about VR. How hyped are you for VR?
I'm so hyped. Like, this video, I'm not a gun nut or anything, but the fact that you can put that much detail and realism into it, and trying to think about what you can put that much detail into, that's like
Yeah,
everything. Like, it's just nobody knows what's going to be coming.
Yeah,
That's like the craziest thing. This is something that's never happened before.
yeah. It's a new frontier for games and interactive media. Like,
And yeah, even far beyond games, like you can have people go on virtual vacations. You can have like empathy training through virtual reality. It's just like the fact of like putting you into someone else's shoes in a way that your brain doesn't really know the difference, even though it kind of does, is totally...
have you tried any VR stuff yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so we'll hang out soon. I have a Galaxy Samsung Gear VR for my phone, and it's fucking awesome. They're Samsung fucking rules, and they don't pay for any of this, but the fact that they basically made the Galaxy S6 and the S7 and the Note, and they're like, hey, buy this $99 headset, put your phone into it, and you can do VR. And it's totally like very, the games are not really, they're very low polygon, whatever, but you just are able to get that experience, like, and just see it for like under $100 basically to be able to like experience VR. I haven't done a ton of the games on it. I've played a couple. There's a really good one called Land's End. It's by the people who made Monument Valley on the phone.
Okay.
And it's like a VR like puzzle game where you're just walking around these like islands and flying over stuff in VR, and it just that sensation of place is just there, and you get it.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things though is New York Times actually has done a bunch of 360 video like essays and stuff. So like there's a couple that are really good. The one that was the most interesting was this is just like a 6 or 7 minute video about like children in like war-torn countries and just following them around in like rubble and stuff.
Yeah.
And you feel there.
Yeah,
You're
it's
standing directly in front of them.
The internet has brought us together in a way, but it's still just text and pictures on the screen, so you're disconnected from it.
Yeah.
VR puts you there.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It's gonna have real weird effects on society.
Yeah, but sometime next time you come over here, I'll crack it out and you'll have to see some of the videos.
Sweet.
I showed my dad one of these. It was like the thing. I was like, this is probably the best way to experience VR is to watch some of these 360 3D videos that they've made. And the one that I showed him was, I don't know if it's 3D video. The New York Times ones are, but this one was just a 360 video of flying in the seat of the Blue Angels when they do like a routine from like takeoff to landing, and it is mind-blowing because you are just in the cockpit, you know, because they have the passenger seat in the back, and you're just watching how like these planes are like 5 inches from each other in the air, and you just, you know, and then you just look around 360 and like you look up and the ground is there because you're upside down, and it is just, oh man, I can't wait for more of that stuff to come out and to have the technology be better than just my phone, which is totally fun for what you're able to see and kind of get it's like a good taste, like a preview, you know, and you get to feel like the power and the possibilities through that, and it's really awesome. But so let's talk about it. It's time. VR
it is time. It's like, this isn't just one company's doing some crazy thing. There's a competition for who's going to be the VR company. Like,
Oculus
that's
Rift.
Insane.
There's the HTC Vive with Valve, and then there is the PSVR. And they all have announced they're coming out, when they're coming out. The PSVR will be out this fall for the holidays. The Vive is out this week or next week, or sometime in April, I think, right? By the end of April.
I'm not sure about that, but I know the
Oculus is out
shipping now.
It's going to be here by the time not by the time this podcast comes out, but when you hear this, you could possibly have one in your hands. I think they were shipping right at the start of April. They were going to be in people's hands, or the end of March. So that's here. That's awesome. And
it's just nuts that this is like, it might not be mainstream at this point, but it's pretty close.
I wish I had the money to buy these.
I'm gonna get one of them, probably either the Oculus or the Vive, but I'm thinking about waiting till like maybe around Christmas time when
that's exactly
there
what
might
I'm
be
thinking.
A clear winner.
Yep, I'm waiting for it to shake out.
More and more, like every time I see a really impressive tech demo and I don't know which one it is, it ends up being Vive.
Well, the Vive does a little bit more than the Oculus. So for those who don't know, we can explain like how they work. So the Oculus is a headset, and it's a headset. That's it. It hooks up to your computer. It does 360 video. People have said that it is probably the most technically complex video-wise. I guess it probably looks the best as far as like video goes.
And that's pretty important for preventing like motion sickness.
Exactly. That's a huge deal, actually. So the way that VR works is that it has to run at 90 frames per second. Because at that speed, if you dip below that, your brain starts freaking out, I guess. Because we see...
Yeah, because it's so realistic that if the frame rate's not right, your brain just doesn't know what's going on.
I mean, you get motion sick. But, yeah, so the way that works is, I believe I take in infinite frames per second, basically, but it is translated in our brains to I think 24 or whatever it is, whatever like movies are at. Basically.
Yeah, there's the I forget what it's called, but to perceive motion, you need at least 24-ish.
Yes, so like that's what our brain processes it as. So to the input of real life is infinite frames per second because that's everything moves without a limiter
it's all
on
analog.
that. Yeah. Whereas digital needs to be at least 90 to trick your brain into thinking it's real, basically. So anything below that, and you start to get a little bit of the stutter, and your mind is just like, whoa.
To put that into perspective, films are around 24. Digital video was around 30 for the longest time, and high-performance video games are at 60.
Yeah. So 90.
So it's even a step beyond that.
Yeah. And it also has to output to 2 screens for VR, one for each eye, or not, depending on the model. I believe the PSVR is 1 screen.
Really?
But with 2 lenses. Well, the idea is it's one screen with that's split. You know, it's a split
okay.
screen.
So you still get like the 3D effect of it.
Yeah, it's just one panel. Whereas the VR, the Oculus has actual 2 physical screens that splits the video out to. And I think the Vive might be the same way. But in the end, the difference doesn't really matter. I mean, like, because they have the VR goggles actually have a lens for each eye in them that distorts the image to be to give you more peripheral than it would be just looking straight ahead. So it kind of warps the image. Yeah, if you want to, yeah, man, we'll have to hang out soon. You can check out my headset because you see how it kind of warps.
Can you wear glasses with it, or do I have to put
Yes,
contacts?
you can wear glasses with it. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And I can wear it without the glasses, but I have to dial it all the way the closest possible to my eyes. And it's not blurry. It's a little blurry, but not too bad. Like, I can't tell if it's just the compression of the video on my screen because, again, I mean, this phone screen is only can go so much, you know, whereas so it's hard to tell if it's my eyes or the actual screen because it is just a phone, but it still looks good. It's just a phone, though. Yeah, so I don't know, but I can wear glasses with it, and that's what I do because it just works better. But you can do it without, too, and it works as well. I know initially when they did VR, they were talking about how they would need, like, tradable eyeglasses that you would put in there depending on your prescription, and they were like, no, we can't do that. That's too ridiculous. They had to make it basically for everyone. They're so
and let's be honest, most of the people that are going to be at least early adopters are going to have glasses.
I know, that's what I said. I was like, you have to have glasses. So actually, I do have an article about that was on Kotaku UK, and this person, Keeza McDonald, went to GDC and tried, and she is a avowed glasses wearer, wearing giant hipster glasses as she calls them. So she's
like mine.
Yeah, well, mine are kind of like that, but just a little smaller. I have big glasses, but not giant. So it's like everyone's just like, can these fit over glasses? So she gave a little a look over. So let's see here. Oculus Rift was the tightest fit. Sometimes I had to remove my glasses and put them inside the headset first before putting the whole thing over my face and adjusting the straps. It was a little snug. The headset was pressing my frames in my nose, which got uncomfortable after 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Fair enough. HTC Vive was easier to put on. I didn't have to take my glasses off and insert them. I could just easily put the headset on. But like the Rift, the positioning of the head straps meant the unit weighs on the frames a bit, pushing the weight on your nose, which is a lot of pressure. And she said that by far the best was the PSVR, because the way that the straps work for that is the pressure's on your forehead, because rather than having straps go around to the front of the VR headset part, the big heavy thing that hangs off your face, it actually goes on your forehead, and then it like kind of is like a visor that comes down, so the weight is on the top of your head and not on your nose. So actually that works a lot better. And instead of having foam around the gaps, it actually has like a rubbery, like scuba mask plastic that I guess doesn't interfere as much. It's not as soft and cushiony, so there's a little bit more room.
And I think the PlayStation one is the lightest weight wise. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't have 2 screens, so it's a little bit light.
That's another thing. Like that. That's another reason I'm gonna wait a while to see what happens when people get their hands on it. Like, this is a computer on your face, so it's gonna be heavy. And yeah.
Yep. But her basic thing is they all fit pretty well.
Okay.
So some are better than others, but they basically built them knowing that people are going to have glasses. We need to make it so they fit. So simple as that. And wearing glasses doesn't impede using them at all. If you have, the correct, if you don't have weird stuff with your eyes, you can definitely take them off and it will work as well. This person who wrote this said, or whatever her prescription was, it just doesn't work. And I have a terrible prescription. Like, I have Coke bottle glasses, but it worked for me. So maybe it's just
without glasses?
Without glasses, yeah.
So it's like, well, I'd wonder, like, since the screen is close to your face, if you're nearsighted, maybe your eyes think it's close, so it's okay? Or?
That's exactly what I'm just nearsighted, so
okay.
It's
so even though it's simulating something far away, it's like
it's because they have lenses inside that do the translation for you, and they just move up. And if you're nearsighted, those lenses just go closer to your eye, and it works. like glasses, basically. Yeah, it totally worked, and I was like, wow, huh?
That's cool.
Yeah, well, at least with the Gear VR, it worked without glasses. Yeah. What else? Oh yeah. So the other headset, we didn't go over this. We did Oculus. That's coming out. That's $600, and it comes. Is that right? $600?
I think so.
Yeah, it's $600. And it
That's
comes
like
with an Xbox controller packed in. Yeah. And that's shipping now. So I don't know if they're sold out, but you could order one. What's the other one? What's the second one?
The HTC Vive.
HTC Vive, which is Steam, Valve, the video game company.
And that comes with like hand motion detector. Bits.
So that is a headset and 2 hand motion detectors and 2 like motion detector pedestal stands, basically. So,
and the cool thing about the Vive is you define like a safe area for you to move around in, and it'll show you like a grid display in your visor if you're running out of that area. Yes, that basically is
make your holodeck is what they're doing. It's like you basically put, I think, one low, one high, these 2 sensors, hook them up to the computer, hook the headset up to the computer with a cord, and then it makes a, like, I think it's like maybe 9 by 9 foot space or something like that. They have the actual specs, and that is your area. And you can move your hands around in there with the controllers, and it does 1-to-1 hand tracking. So that video that I shared on the website shows a guy holding a gun and using his other hand with the controller, which you can see a little bit because it shows the controller in a little bit of a outline as he's like unjamming the gun or moving the lever back, and that's like 1-to-1 hand motions, like it's like you're holding a gun basically, which is really cool. Which
and you can see in that video he passes the gun from his left hand to his right hand.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, the Vive seems probably the coolest as far as technology goes. And that's
it kind of seems like the Vive is. Well, go ahead.
That's $800, I believe, $799. But again, comes with 2 motion controllers and like additional equipment. So of course it's going to cost more because it has more stuff. $200 more for stuff. So different types of experiences you're going to have with that than with the Oculus.
It kind of seems like the Vive is more for standing up and moving around the room, and the Oculus is a lot of like sitting experience.
Yes, the Oculus is like cockpit experience.
Yeah.
Like I'm in my spaceship flying around, looking around with my head, leaning in close to look at a panel, all sorts of cool stuff like that, which is awesome. And whereas the Vive is more of a full body experience, although again, this all has to shake out because it's all like a brand new frontier.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then the last one, which was most recently announced, is coming out by the end of October, they said. The PSVR. And that one is $400. Is by far the cheapest. I don't really know, I guess, what what's going to happen with that. There's not a lot known about that, but
I think that's going to be the highest adoption rate because there's so many people that already have a PS4.
Yeah, because
that's really all you need.
And the problem is, and now I've seen a lot of online discussions about VR and stuff, and they're just like, oh, but you need a PS4 with that, and that ups the price, and you need to buy the camera, which it doesn't come with, the PlayStation 4 camera, and you need to buy the little PlayStation Move controllers, because that also, with the camera and Move controllers, does hand tracking as well. So you can.
And with all that bumps you up to like Oculus pricing.
It's $500 actually for the pack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they have a lot of leftover Move controllers nobody bought back from the PS3. They're the same controllers, so actually, if you already have those from the past, they'll work, which is nice. Which is why they're not packed in. Yeah, because they didn't want people double buying stuff.
And the PlayStation camera, I guess a lot of people have that.
Yeah, and you can buy that. It's $60 retail, but I mean, it's on Amazon for $40 all the time, so it's not a huge amount. But people make the argument to me, and I'm like, but here's the deal: I pay $500 to get that pack that has everything in it. I'm good to go. I buy a Vive, I need to buy a new video card, which is going to be $300. Yeah. Like, if you have the computer already for it, then the price difference is like, well, it's not. It's you might as well get the computer one.
Yeah, and I'm in the position where I have the computer for it, but I don't have a PlayStation.
Well, there you go. My computer, I am one video card away from the Vive I did the Vive, like, because Steam put out a VR test for your computer to see if you can handle VR. I did that. It gave me a, like, passable, like a yellow. Like, you can do it, but it's not going to be good.
But when your video card gets stressed, it crashes. Yours specifically.
Yeah, so I need a new video card. But it wouldn't be good. It wasn't green. It was like, hey, maybe you want to upgrade your video card. Everything else is good.
Well, yeah. And it'll if it's just barely there, it'll drop frames and you'll throw up all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. It says you're not going to have an ideal experience. And I'm like, so I could try it out.
I'm thinking Oculus or Vive, but if it ends up like the PlayStation just way more popular and stuff ends up getting made for that's not cross-platform, then I'll probably end up going with that too.
I mean, honestly, I think you're going to see this holiday even bundles where it's like, here's a PlayStation 4 and PSVR for probably $800, you know, and they're like, that's not bad. That's the price of a Vive, you know. And you'll have a PS4 as well, you know, if you want to play games on that too. PSVR is the most enticing to me just because it's $500 and I'll have everything I need, versus buying a $800 thing and a $300 video card. It's kind of like, I can't justify that, but I think I'm going to wait as well for it to come out. But yeah, because I mean, it really all like you said, it comes down to the experiences. Like, if people are like, oh, the Oculus looks really cool, but there's not a lot of good games for it.
Yeah, like, if one is the best hardware-wise and it's the best, you can make the best games for it, but nobody bought it. So there's no developers going to that platform.
Yeah,
like,
that's the hope with the PSVR is it's going to be, hey, it's not as powerful. PS4 isn't as powerful as these. You're not going to get the graphic fidelity as these other systems, but so many people have this, everyone's making games for it. So there's the best games experience.
I'm just hoping people go with like the PlayStation and then they move up to somewhere else instead of going with that and being like, oh, this is kind of neat, but it's limited, so I don't need to investigate this any further.
I wonder, I worry about VR in that way too, because it's a lot to ask at this point, but this is also the first gen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And VR really is never gonna go away.
This is like the VCR in the 80s.
There's so much
it's brand new
built up around VR worlds that people are gonna keep pushing to try and make this a reality.
And the thing is that having done the Samsung Gear VR, the experience is so unique and interesting where you're just
better than the Virtual Boy?
It's exactly. It's like, this is what you wanted. Like this, like, yeah, virtual reality existed in the past as like dumb like toys and at universities and headsets that were cool and did some interesting things, but like we've gotten to the point where it's like this feels like an experience that is unique to this, like a new way of experiencing media, you know.
And I can't stress enough that it's so crazy that this isn't just one fringe company. Like this isn't Elon Musk doing something nutty. This is an actual race to try this is Apple versus
Sony.
Microsoft.
This is Sony. This is Steam or Valve and HTC. This is Oculus, which was Facebook now. And Samsung is doing VR stuff. It's like you have 4 gigantic tech companies working on this.
Yeah.
It's coming.
And they wouldn't be doing this if they didn't see a hugely profitable future in it.
No. And just the wow factor of games or the 360 video. Again, another cool thing about the Samsung is they funded a show that is like a drama, all shot in 360 video that you watch, and you can just experience the looking around while people are acting and stuff. And like that's going to be a new way to experience movies.
Like way beyond games, there's probably going to be entirely new forms of entertainment that come out of this that we have not predicted at all yet.
Yeah, so I watch wrestling, and there are on the Samsung Gear VR, because there's in Brooklyn is where they had SummerSlam last year, and there's a company in Brooklyn that does 360 video, and they filmed a bunch of like highlights of a show, and being ringside 360 video at an event feels so real. You're like there's people jumping on tables like 2 feet away from your face, and it just is like, oh my God, I watched that and I lost my mind. I was just like, they have to film every like live event with this.
You could sit 50-yard line at the Super Bowl.
Yep, and just feel like you're there. That's the future. And that's why Facebook spent money in buying Oculus. This is clear what the future is going to be. And you even see YouTube today. The WWE does a bunch of stuff with VR, but YouTube, they had a video that was, hey, here's this wrestler's entrance on YouTube in 360 video. So if you have your phone, you can just hold your phone up and move it around and just see.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is
my phone. It's nuts.
It's cool. It's like you have a little porthole to another world when you're using your phone. It's awesome. VR is the future. I'm glad we both can have so much love over it. But I can't wait for this fall in particular, to see how that hashes out. Yep. Let me see. I'm gonna have to say we're out of time here, so let's do one final news story here. Let's talk about why we watch YouTube gaming. So I actually saw a really interesting article about this that was on I guess a Gawker website. Oh my God, how do I get this link? There it is. All right, I was trying to open up the article from Google thing. All right, so YouTube gaming. I don't know who did this study. Science Explains. This is a YouTube video. Of course, this is the worst type of article that I hate, where it's just
You'll
a YouTube.
never believe the reasons.
No, not like that. This does explain it, but it's just like, watch this video, the article. But this actually has some text about it. So the significant thing to take away from how this, like, why the phenomenon of people, and I do it, you do it, everyone does it, watches people play games on YouTube, is actually something that's been around forever. It's why people watch sports. It's why people, watch any sort of like live event. Is the mirror system in your brain, which is made up of mirror neurons, which serves to imitate actions perceived by the human brain. So, like, let's say you pick up a cup from a table. The mirror neurons and your temporal cortex process visual motion activates. When you see someone else pick a cup up, the same parts of your brain activate. So your brain is kind of like, oh, I understand what they're going through because I know what it is like to pick up a cup and drink from it. And the same thing happens when you're watching games on YouTube. So if you love playing video games, watching someone else play a game, and you totally, when you hear it said out loud, you think of it, you're like, that's totally it. Like, you see someone playing a game, you kind of feel like you're having the same experience as if you were playing the game. And so because of that empathy, you can identify with ways that gamers play on YouTube. And this also ties in why gamers on YouTube play bad video games all the time, because we're able to identify the bad flaws as well. Basically, you're like, oh yeah, I get what they're saying. This is dumb. We can both laugh at it together. It really more fills in the mirror neuron. It makes you feel like you're there, basically.
Yeah. It's like a community effect.
Yeah, and that's really cool, actually. And I like it. And that makes sense to me because you kind of feel like you're there in the room with them playing the game. You're getting the same experience as if you were there. So I didn't realize that there's actually a part of the brain that's the same thing when you're playing sports. Watching someone shoot a basket, you're like, I've done that before. I know what it's like to shoot a basket. That's interesting. Yeah. So what do you think? What do you do? What do you watch on YouTube?
I watch like Heroes of the Storm gameplay videos, and I watch those for tips.
Yeah.
But also like they do this like WTF montage that I think they stole from League of Legends, but it's like that
people
would
fucking
be
up.
funny. Yeah, or like just insane plays that probably shouldn't have happened, and that wouldn't be funny if I didn't already know how the game works, so I could put myself in those shoes. Yeah. So it's always like, if I was in that situation, it would be nuts.
Same thing with me in Counter-Strike Go. Like, I watch a lot of competitive Counter-Strike Go lately. That's a new thing. The majors are next weekend. I will be watching, cheering for the teams. But, like, I've played Counter-Strike, and you watch people do these crazy, like, feats of, like, incredible dexterity or shots or dumb luck, and you're just like, man, like I've played this level, this map. I fucking hate that
that's the
corner.
awesome thing about competitive gaming. You see something nuts, and you can go in and try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I see somebody score a touchdown, and like I'm not gonna do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I can go try and do a Crazy Heroes play.
Yeah. Totally. Or if like, yeah, it's kind of how the way, but I mean, that's how sports work as well. I mean, like that's why soccer's so popular, especially in developing countries. It's like, you got a ball, you can play soccer. You know, like you watch these people do it, and you can go out in your backyard with your friends and kick a ball around, you know. Same thing with these video games. That's why esports are so popular, because it kind of taps into that same mentality. It's like, I watch these guys. Now I'm going to go log in and just dream of being as good as, you know, these players while I'm running around getting completely destroyed.
And it really just makes sense that this came about as a thing to watch, because, like, you and I are of the generation where how many times when you were a kid did you go to a friend's house and watch them play a game?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, you play together, but they want to play this single-player game, so you'll just watch them. Like, we grew up being trained for this.
Yeah, I know. Like Adam and I, many hours. Him coming over to my house and me playing, you know, like a Tales of Symphonia, you know, on the GameCube, a single player game. But he's just watching me play. And he's like, "Hey, you should like equip that thing and that," and we'll be like, you know, talking that, and me going to his place and playing like Final Fantasy X and playing through it. You know, we played through 13 together. It's just kind of one of those things. I've been doing that since I was like a small child, just like sitting next to a friend.
Since I was watching my brother play the NES and trying to guide him through Mario levels, like so like this the principle you're talking about has been around forever.
Yeah,
but it only makes sense that we're starting to apply that to video games now, based on how we grew up.
Yep. Yeah, that's why like somebody who was older or didn't grow up playing video games might not get the same feeling out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they didn't grow up.
You need that sort of... the mirror neurons help, but you need a sort of base empathy built up to have something to compare to. Yeah,
that's exactly, you know, how that goes into. Because the mirror neurons take you to the point of, oh, I am connecting with that experience. But if you have that... Oh, I remember sitting on the couch with my friend making fun of bad games what we rented by mistake from the Blockbuster, you know, and running around in the stupid game, and you see someone doing it on the internet. You're just like, yeah, I love watching dumb stuff, you know, like this is great. So, yeah, that's it. So I like how there's a nice like scientific explanation to this phenomenon.
Yeah, I feel validated, really.
Yeah, I feel that, but I also feel like, and I know you must feel the same way as a creator. As someone who makes music and stuff, is that sometimes I'll be watching like Netflix or watching people play games on YouTube, and I'm like, this is the absolute laziest thing I can be doing right now. Like, I am watching someone play a game. I'm not even like, I could veg out on my couch and play this game, but I'm too lazy to even play it.
Yeah, if I'm at home and I have the free time and I'm at my computer watching it because I don't have a TV set up, like, there's literally nothing standing between me and playing the game, but I'll just sit here and watch it.
Yeah, well, because you don't have to think when you're playing a game. You're just watching. Whereas when you're playing a game, you're you know, making decisions, you're interacting, you're using different parts of your brain. When you're watching, you're just, you know, there for the ride. And sometimes I always feel like I need to motivate myself more and play games. And I kind of do that for the podcast now. It's like, okay, I need to play a game so I can talk about it. I need to like watch this new thing coming out because I got to talk about it. You know, like I can't. You got to like motivate yourself to at least experience media firsthand sometimes. But you know, sometimes I like to just watch a bunch of people dick around on Grand Theft Auto 5 and crash into each other and explode things.
Yeah. Sometimes I just can't handle anything that's longer than a GIF.
There's a quote for the night. No, I agree with you though. You know, that sometimes when there's a video. On an article, like showing something, we're like, "Where's the GIF? I just need the 6 seconds."
Like when I'm browsing Reddit on my phone, I'll ignore the videos. If I see something goes to YouTube, I won't click it because I don't want to have to worry about muting sound.
Just show
like
me
having something
yeah.
that plays sound and interrupts whatever podcast I'm listening to. It just seems like this huge interruption.
Yeah, just show me the goat headbutting that guy in the junk. Like, I don't need a video. I just need the money shot. I just need the goat headbutting a guy. It's hilarious. Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. But I think that's going to do it for this week. We are.
No, that flew by.
It does. Yeah, we're almost at 2 hours, so we got to call it. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Matt, for stepping in to pinch hit while Adam is sick, under the weather. He said he. Can I get? Oh man, do I have my phone? I'm gonna get the exact quote of what happened.
All right. While you're doing that, I'll say you can find more of me at youtube.com/Matt Haag Music. 2 A's, 1 G in Haag.
I'll have a link on the website.
.com/Matt Haag Music, patreon.com/Matt Haag Music, www.matthaagmusic.com, all that good stuff. So there's the Fallout theme is up now on SoundCloud. I'm working on animating the video and getting it onto YouTube as soon as possible.
Yep, and the website is bornintheeighties.net. You can find this episode, Born in the 80s 209, some fucking TV name or thing name that I came up with. There'll be a link to Matt Haag's stuff there, so you can find it there if you can't remember how to spell his name, which is possible, you know. I got it, but maybe you're not as smart as me.
Well, a lot of people have trouble with the double A.
Yeah, that's true. It's a pretty common name, though, in
it's weird.
Germany
like,
and
people
stuff.
at restaurants call me Matt Haag. I don't really get it.
Well, people mispronounce my name constantly. John Rowe, they say Rowie.
You just have to say it's like the Dirty Jobs guy. It's fine.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just like, it's Rowe. Just the E is silent. Just say Rowe. Adam said, he said, we should skip this week because Easter. Also, I have nothing to talk about. And I said, okay, gotta watch out for those holidays. They really sneak up on you. He says, we can record, but it's been a long week. I slammed my finger in a door today. And I've been sick, so it's been a taxing few days. And I was like, that's fine. If you don't feel good, we don't have to record. So we'll talk about he's tanting from beyond the podcast right now, tantalizing you for Batman vs. Superman talk next week, where Adam will be in the house. He says, I said, reviews seem... Okay. What time should we record? Same bat time, same bat place, he says. Should be fine. I said, okay, why are you going to go see a bad movie? He says, reviews are split. It looked good to me. I like Man of Steel, so I figure I'll probably like this one too. I write, 31% Rotten Tomatoes seems a little bit more than split. I didn't know it was that low. Either way, I don't take a stock in reviews. Also, I love superhero stuff. Fair enough, Adam. I'm sure if it's a good movie,
I think if you go in with the right expectations, it'll be fun.
I've actually heard people have said I've gone in with low expectations because of the reviews, and I was like, that wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. There's Batman and Superman fighting each other. I've heard the problem with that movie is the tone is just a little bit too dark.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. It's darker than the Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, I read the a review that was summarized in one sentence that said, as the Joker said in a better Batman movie, why so serious? And it's true. I mean, part of you gotta have a little levity with these things.
Yeah, especially anything with Superman. Like, Superman's such a ridiculous character. You can't take him too seriously.
No. All right, well, thank you for listening, and we will catch you next week for Born in the 80s. All right, well, just let me know when you're back. All right, it sounds good. We're going to go with it.
All right.
Episode 109. Just going to write notes. Okay. Holy shit, I'm already sweating. I fucking hate the upstairs gets so hot. There's no air up here, so I have a fan on. It's pointed at my butt, so it isn't pointing at the mic.
A good temperature.
Yeah, but the rest of me is warm.
Is overheating.
Yes. All right. Are you ready? All right. let me go over the format. I've been trying to be more rigid, as Adam has been less and less rigid. Just being like, I don't know, I don't got anything. And it's like, all right, well, all right. So we've got a news segment that I'll go through. We start off by talking about what we did for the week. I got some movies and TV shows and games I played. You can talk about whatever you want. You know, we'll just back and forth, and then we'll get to news. And then I have John's Pad segment.
Yes, I knew that.
Which is the part where I rant about stuff I wrote down in a notepad. I have one note for this week that we'll get to.
By the way, brown rice is delicious.
Oh, I understand.
That's why people have brown rice.
I understand. I understand. That's a totally fine argument. If you think it tastes better, fucking eat the hell out of it. I'm just saying the nutritional differences.
Like sushi rice should be white.
Yeah. But I'm just saying the nutritional differences are not as much as people would assume. But if you like the taste of brown rice, I like it too in some things because it's a little bit chewier, which I appreciate. But like if I'm having stir fry, I need white rice because I like the chewiness, or I like the softness of the rice. But I've had good brown rice is good. I think colder maybe. Like I've had brown rice and salads and stuff. And
yeah, I could see that. It's more of like a weedy.
Yeah.
Like taste.
Yeah, just like whole wheat pasta. Like I love whole wheat pasta most of the time, but sometimes you just gotta have that terrible for your body carbs. But yeah, all right.
Carbs.
Yes.
All right, I'm back.
I'm watching that video.
It's insane. Like I'm not a gun nut or anything, but the amount of detail that goes into like flipping the safety on and off and the gun jams and you unjam it the same way people do in real life. It's just...
I actually, again, I'm not a gun nut either, but I can understand why people are because they're just fantastic machines. You know, it's just like this is a really complicated instrument with like just cool like mechanical levers and switches and just like you have to like insert the thing in correctly and load the tube. And have you ever fired a rifle before?
Yes.
The best fucking thing in the world is the bolt action, just pulling that bolt back and then snapping it in, and you just that metallic
or the casing just pops out.
Yeah, or like before you just feeling that mechanical like device work and lock in correctly, and you know, I don't know, it's something's really just cool about them. Just, you know, it's like any nerdy like tool. It's like this is just kind of a cool
when
thing.
I saw that on Reddit, like people from the military were commenting like, yeah, that's exactly how you that's how those always jam, and that's exactly how you hit it to unjam it. And the fact that you could put that much detail into anything in virtual space, it's just like I can't wait, man.